Hi folks, HR Funk here. If you can't tell, I'm out on the range today, and I'm here because I'm going to be doing part 2 of my evaluation on the new Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal pistol. And if you didn't see part 1 of this video, it was an extensive, detailed shop review of this pistol, and I would encourage you to go back and watch that part to get all of the X's and O's and find out all the specifics about this pistol, because this video is going to be pretty much dedicated to shooting it. And in order to give it a good comparison, I'm going to be testing it side by side against my 2017 M&P 2.0 polymer frame, obviously, and my 2007 M&P 1.0. And I really am trying to figure out, performance-wise, if you're getting anything more for your money for the additional $270 price tag of the M&P metal pistol as opposed to the older polymer frame pistols. So I'm going to start out with an accuracy test here in just a minute, and we're going to see how this new M&P 2.0 metal pistol stacks up against its older cousins. And I'm set up and ready to go for the accuracy test. And for this accuracy test, I am going to be shooting from sandbags on top of the bench, as you see here. And I'm set up at a distance of 15 yards from the target. And I'm going to be shooting these pistols in a specific order for a specific reason. I'm going to start out with the M&P 1.0, the 2007 pistol, and this one is chambered for the .40 Smith & Wesson cartridge, and I'm going to be shooting it with 165 grain Spear Gold Dot ammunition. Then I'm going to switch to the M&P 2.0 polymer frame pistol, and I'm going to be shooting it with Hop Munitions 115 grain jacketed hollow point ammunition, and Hop Munitions rates this at a velocity of 1,200 feet per second, so this is a good stout 115 grain load. And then last in line, I'm going to shoot the M&P 2.0 metal pistol with this same ammunition from Hop Munitions. And the reason I'm shooting them in that order is because I really want to see, after shooting the two polymer frame pistols, if I'm feeling a difference in the way this M&P 2.0 metal pistol shoots. And also, I'm obviously going to be looking at the accuracy. And I'm going to be shooting the handguns in that order all the way through this evaluation. So here we go. And looking at our 15-yard accuracy, the point of aim for all these targets was exactly the same, which was 6 o'clock right at the bottom of the white bullseye here. And you can see with my 2007 pistol and my 2017 pistol, I'm hitting pretty much point of aim. The 3 shots that I've got here with my 40 are really flyers. They're probably my fault, I would guess. I'm not sure why I got them that far against, or away from rather, the main group. But part of the reason I wanted to use 10-shot groups was to get an idea of where the pistols were generally hitting so I could rule out any errors of my own. And we can see 7 of those 10 shots are in about 2.5 inches or thereabouts. The 2017 pistol has a very nice group there. That's about 1.5 inches and a little bit of lateral stringing, but not bad at all. And when we look at the 2.0 metal pistol, we can see that rear sight looks like, at least for my eyes, needs a little bit of an adjustment. The group size, other than just one flyer, is not bad. That's about 2 inches or just a little bit more, 2.25 inches. But in terms of just pure accuracy and even regulation of the sights, that 2017 pistol definitely won this evaluation, or at least this part of this evaluation, when it comes to accuracy. Now, when it comes to shootability of these pistols, there's really no surprises. My 2007 pistol, as I mentioned in the shop, really has the best trigger break of all 3. It breaks very nicely, and this pistol has always handled recoil very well. I've always found the M&P to be a very shootable pistol, those flyers aside. The 2017 pistol, when I was shooting it, I can feel just that little bit of creep in the trigger, but obviously it was not adversely affecting my shooting any, since this actually had the best accuracy of all 3 handguns. In shooting the 2.0 metal pistol, I didn't think it really had less felt recoil than the polymer frame version. The trigger felt about the same. I mean, you can feel a difference because it's got the small safety in the middle of the trigger blade. But otherwise, as far as the break and the experience of cycling that trigger, there were no surprises. There was nothing that made me think, wow, this feels really great. And again, when we look at the shots as they hit on the target, this rear sight, which as I look at it, I can now see is slightly off to the right. So that would be something for Smith & Wesson's quality control folks to take a look at and make sure those sights are properly regulated before these pistols ship from the factory. So now it's time to speed things up a little bit. I'm set up at a distance of 5 yards from the target, and from here, with each of my handguns, I'm going to be firing controlled pairs. So I'm going to start in a ready position and then come up and fire 2 shots on the target as fast as I can accurately place my shots, and then come back and do it again. I'll do this 3 times with each handgun, and we'll see how it goes. So that time around, the clear winner was the 1.0 40 Smith & Wesson, and we see a nice tight, well-centered group with that pistol. And I think a lot of that comes from firing those exact same kind of drills for so many years with that handgun. And I'm so used to that recoil impulse and the timing, and I know when to start my trigger press again, and I was able to keep those very nicely centered. I managed a flyer with each of the 9mm pistols, and I think part of the reason for that was coming off the 40, where everything was familiar. I moved to the 9mm and I was getting less recoil, so I was coming back on target quicker and starting my trigger press quicker, and I was just firing a little bit too fast for a couple of these shots and pulling them away from the rest of the group. But when we look at the group between the M&P 2.0 polymer frame pistol and the 2.0 metal frame pistol, the groups are about the same size, and I'm just going to exclude those 2 flyers for now and look at the main body of the group, because I think this is more a reflection of the pistol and these 2 are a reflection of me. Again, as far as the shooting experience goes, I'm not really feeling a nickel's worth of difference between the polymer frame pistol and the metal frame pistol. I do notice a difference in the trigger, but as far as the metal frame pistol being superior, I'm just not feeling that. Next, I'm moving back to a distance of 7 yards, and from there, once again, starting with the 1.0 M&P, I'm going to be firing a failure drill, which is 2 shots to the body and 1 shot to the head in rapid succession. I'm going to slow down my trigger press just a little bit with those 2 9mm pistols and see if I can keep those groups a little bit better centered, and we'll see how this goes. And this is the first drill that I think the M&P 2.0 metal pistol won. I've got a nice tight group in the body here. Got 2 of them that are on the heart, 2 of them just below the heart, and 2 good headshots. The 2.0 polymer frame pistol was not too far behind it. I've got a decent group here, a little off to the left. I pulled 1 low, but 2 very good headshots there. And of course, I managed to blow both of my headshots with the 40 when I was shooting this one, although my body shots are pretty good with the 40 also. So the 2.0 metal did win this one. Again, the shooting experience really did not seem that much different to me than when I was shooting the 2.0 polymer frame pistol. I'm not feeling a huge difference in the recoil. As I said before, the trigger is noticeably different if I take the time to notice it, but in just shooting, I don't feel a great deal of difference between these 2 handguns. And now it's back to a distance of 15 yards from the target. And from that distance, I'll start with each handgun in a ready position and then come up and fire 5 rounds into the body of the target as fast as I can accurately keep shots on target. Once again, I'll start with the 1.0 pistol and work my way all the way up to the 2.0 metal version. And from that 15-yard stage, I've marked the shots with the red stickers, and I hope the colors are showing up with the sunlight coming in the way it is today. But once again, the 1.0 40 had the tightest group. It's slightly off to the left. I've got most of those in the right lung right there. In fact, all of them are in the right lung, and that group can be covered up with my hand. With the 2.0 9mm, I've got 2 shots that open this up a little bit, still fairly nicely centered from that distance of 15 yards. And I would have to measure these to see which one of these 2 9mm pistols had the tightest group from that distance, but they are virtually identical. There's really not that much difference between them. I think probably what we're seeing here with the tightest group coming from the 40 1.0 is the fact that that trigger has the nicest break. And I talked about that when I did my shop review. It doesn't have the reset for whatever that's worth that the other 2 handguns do, but it does have the absolute nicest break, and we see the benefit of that in the size of this group from 15 yards. And finally, I'm back to a distance of 25 yards from the target, and from this distance, I'm again going to start in the low ready position with the 1.0 pistol, and from this distance, with each handgun, I'm going to fire 5 rounds into the body of the target. We'll see how things go from this range. And I used light blue stickers to mark those shots from 25 yards. And again, I hope in these lighting conditions there's enough contrast that these are showing up. You might have noticed some different camera angles today that I'm using. All of that is to try to compensate for a very low sun that's giving me some difficult lighting conditions to work with. In any case, from 25 yards, the 1.0 40 Smith & Wesson had shots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right in this area. I'm pulling those slightly off to the left, and I might need to give that rear sight a little bit of attention because it seems like the farther back I went, the more these shots seem to gravitate over and over to the left. But in terms of group size, this is once again the tightest group from that distance of 25 yards. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with the superior brake on that 1.0 trigger. Moving over here to the 2.0 polymer pistol, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nicely centered, but vertically stringing these just a little bit. And I had vertical stringing with the 2.0 metal pistol as well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those groups are roughly the same size, probably a little bit tighter with the 2.0 metal pistol than with the 2.0 polymer frame pistol, although this one shot, or this one shot, depending on which one you decide to pick, probably makes all the difference. The best four are roughly the same size, maybe a little bit tighter with the 2.0 metal pistol. But I don't really see that as performance that is because of a superior pistol or superior shooting characteristics. I just see this as the variance in the shooter, i.e. me, from one string to the next. Folks, one other thing I want to point out before I move on from the targets here is, other than two bad shots that are entirely my fault, when we look at all the little dots on all the targets, the 40 Smith & Wesson 1.0 is noticeably tighter than the other two handguns. And again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I think a lot of that comes back to how well that trigger breaks in those early 1.0 M&P pistols. So for whatever changes Smith & Wesson made to the design of the trigger and the various components that are part of the trigger over the years, I think they had it right in the very first ones, and I'm not seeing all of the engineering changes in the later versions translate into more accurate shooting on target. So after all this shooting, what are my final thoughts on the M&P 2.0 9mm metal pistol? My first thought is, that's a long name. The second thing I want to mention is something that started to become noticeable as I got later and later in the shooting of this pistol, and I think it comes from this polymer section that is actually just above the grip insert here at the tang of the grip. And that's the fact that it started to cause some pain in the web of my hand. And the more I shot it, as I said, toward the end of the time shooting, the more that started to become uncomfortable. And I think it's because of that hard polymer right there. And that's odd because with all the shooting that I've done with the polymer frame M&Ps over the years, I've never noticed that. And the polymer on the polymer frame is certainly as hard as that on the metal frame. So I don't know if that's just something to do with the flex in the polymer that makes these a little bit more comfortable to shoot, or what's causing that, but it was something that I noticed. The other thing that I'll say is that the M&P 9mm 2.0 metal pistol, as I said all the way back at the beginning of part one of this evaluation, is $270 more MSRP than the basic M&P 9mm pistol. And I really just do not see an additional $270 worth of performance from this pistol over and above what you get with that standard version of the M&P. Now, if you are someone who just absolutely does not like polymer frame handguns and you won't own anything but a metal frame, then I guess the M&P 2.0 metal frame pistol might be for you. But I think for virtually everyone else, the armed citizen, the police officer, persons in the military, or whomever, my recommendation would be to save your money, get the lesser expensive polymer frame version, and I just don't know how long we're going to see the metal frame version of the M&P in the lineup from Smith & Wesson. As far as the new trigger goes, quote unquote, I said it back in the shop and I'll say it again here, I'm just not impressed by it. I hear a lot of people rave about this trigger. I really tend to think a lot of people just like the way it looks. It looks kind of cool. It has that radical sort of semi-straight contour to it with the wide safety blade there. And I think a lot of people think that looking cool equates to shooting better. And I just didn't see it out here today. I would tell you if I did, if this was a much better shooting pistol with a better trigger, I would definitely praise it. And at least in my hands, I'm not feeling that. In any case, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, as always, make sure you forward those to me. Again, I want to thank Hop Munitions for loaning me this pistol. I would not have it for an evaluation were it not for their assistance. And if you go to Hop Munitions, remember my discount code there, which is HRFUNK10, and that'll save you 10% off your purchase rather from Hop Munitions. Also, as I said in part one, they have a special going on right now for free shipping on their products, and for orders of $100 and more, if you use the discount code HOHOHO, you'll get free shipping from Hop Munitions on your purchase there. As always, remember Optics Planet if you use my discount code with Optics Planet, which is, that'll save you 5% on your purchase from Optics Planet. So until next time, folks, I hope you have a great holiday season and good shooting. Bye-bye.